I've adjusted to the horse that I have, doing what's working for her. Somebody might not like the way it looks, but the thing about it is, it's not how it looks that matters. It's the horse that matters. That's because it was time to push and ask for more, which is what I'm doing here. Give me more. Give me more. I'll give it to you as soon as you quit pulling it away. And release. Good girl. I want to take a minute and show you how Basta is coming along. It's raining pretty hard. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. She's been staying in the stall since the last video. She's been in, I think, roughly a week at this point, and been keeping her in the stall. No turnout. The reason for the no turnout is because I don't want to give her an opportunity to say no when we go, if she was to be turned out and we go to catch her. I don't want to have to lunge her to get her to turn to me to catch her. I want it to be in the stall so that she gets comfortable with me in her space. Different breeds, I'll do a little bit different. For her, being a foxtrotter, I want to just get her more comfortable. We're going to be working the saddle pad today, and I want her comfortable with everything that goes on. You see right here, she's kind of pacing around, looking over the walls, looking for an escape, looking for a buddy, whatever that might be. But I want that buddy, that connection, to become me and not with the horse on both sides. That's kind of the downfall of keeping her in the stall, is because she can see horses on both sides. She can buddy up to them to a point. But we move her around, the horses get moved around, so she's not always by the same horse every time. She has some feed bags in her stall. She was really weird about her feet stepping on stuff, so we just threw some feed bags in here. She's totally used to them now. I pick them up and throw them around. She kind of gets wide eyes. But as far as walking around the stall and stepping on the feed bags, she don't care anymore. Now what I want to do, if I walk up to her, she's going to walk away. I can lunge her and I can make it happen, but what I've been doing is kind of sacking her out at the same time to the rope, the halter, the saddle pad, so that she starts to kind of get used to some things. Now, I don't like to do this out in the round pen or out in the big arena, because they can learn that they can leave and the rope, they can get rid of the rope. I like to do this in a small area so that whatever her reaction is, she doesn't get rid of the rope. The rope stays there, and she starts to get used to the rope. Now, eventually, of course, we're going to want to be able to walk out to her, put a halter and lead rope on her, and walk off. And usually, once I have a rope on her, she's actually not bad to halter. There, see, I threw the rope over her back. She panicked a little bit, but she let me walk up to her and grab the other side of the lead rope. It's like when I take her escape away, she's like, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and give in. That's why I don't really think she's really scared. Even though her big reactions when I threw that rope over her back, your first thought is, wow, she's really scared. If she was really scared, she would still be reacting right here. She would have reacted when I walked up to get the lead rope. I don't believe she is scared. That's why I'm working her this way. I want her to know that this is the program and she needs to get with the program. Now let's see if she'll take a step to me. There, not bad at all. Kind of rub the rope around her a little bit. Flip it around. A little bit of a startle there. But not bad. Let's step to me again. See how she's looking for that leave. She's looking for that place to go. Step to me again. Step to me again. I want to make sure that I work this some off both eyes. I want her to get good at being haltered, but at this point, going up to her and putting the halter on, I'm doing it, but that's not really what this is about. This is about her getting comfortable with me going up to her, putting a rope on her, touching her, petting on her, scratching on her, getting her comfortable with all that. Because if a horse is comfortable with staying with you, they're going to be comfortable to halter. They're going to be comfortable to catch. They're going to be comfortable with everything else. But right now, her reaction is no. Her reaction is leave, which means that she's making the decisions and she's getting done what she wants to do. That's what we need to change. See, I'm pretty much handling her like she's broke. She's telling me, no, I don't like this. But she's staying and letting me do it. By doing this, with getting my hands all over, rubbing her all over, putting the rope all over, that is making the haltering process easier, because haltering isn't just haltering. Haltering is about teaching the horse to be willing to be haltered. See, we're not willing there, but the problem isn't haltering, the problem is willing. Now we got the halter on, let's just pet on her. She did what I asked, I'm going to pet her on her a little bit. She's shedding a lot, which I'm sure she's itchy. That's making all this petting go really good, because I'm sure it itches and it helps her to shed out and take some of the itch away. Pull this rope down. Bring her face to me. There we go. Let's go on this side. Put my hand on her. It's kind of funny because you see, when I'm going to the other side, she was popping up. She was telling me no, acting like she was pretty not broke. That flinch was from Thunder. Acting like she was pretty not broke, pretty much wanting to not do what I was asking her to do. But as soon as I got my hands on her, she just kind of melted away and starting to relax a little bit. She is at the stage now where the haltering is not 100% perfect. We still have more to do, but it's time to go ahead and start putting more pressure on her. Talked about that a good bit recently. A lot of horses, if you wait till one thing is 100% good before you move to the next thing, you're not going to make any progress, or your progress is going to be really slow. Where if I go ahead and start pushing on the next step, then this part is actually going to get better. I got a good bit of that off. I'm sure that feels better. Now I'm going to take, this is just a lightweight English pad that I'm going to start sacking her out to. That's not acceptable. I'm going to pop on the halter. Right thing easy, wrong thing hard. If she's just misbehaving, I'm not going to just sit here and wait for her to figure it out. I'm going to apply less pressure, take the pressure away when she's good, and put more pressure on her when she's bad. Right thing easy, wrong thing hard. I'm not a fan of just letting a horse be bad and work it out. To me, that's not acceptable. You want to smell the pad? Bump the halter. Bump the halter. You want to smell the pad? You want to smell the pad? Now, I really don't think she's scared of this pad. Really think she just don't want it in here. You want to smell it? It smells like a horse. This is just an English pad just because it's small and light. and easy to handle. Take it away and move your feet. Unlock the feet, soften the feet. You want to smell the pad again? Good girl. Move the feet. I don't want her to get locked into any space in here. If you get locked into a space, then when she reacts, she's going to be really stiff, and it's going to be a reaction, not a thoughtful movement. There we go. Good girl. Scratch on her. I know she's itchy. I'm going to use this pad like a brush, and I'm sure it's going to feel good to her. Hold it up so I can hold it and it don't flop too bad. Look at there. I went on and went to her and touched her with it, and she kind of got a little bit tight, but no rearing up or flinching when I was just showing it to her. This is a horse that wants to get things her way, and if you let her get things her way, you're not going to get anywhere. Her owner has actually put a lot of time into her, and a lot of time doing things what generally textbook is considered right, but she needed some adjustments. Typically, you get a horse like I walked in here. I walked in here and she's popping up on the front end. The last thing you think about is start rubbing them with a saddle pad. Because you think, oh, I'll start rubbing them with a saddle pad. It's just going to get wild and crazy. I'm going to get hurt. The horse is going to get hurt. Something bad's going to happen. But with her, you have to challenge that. You have to let her know that, hey, this is my program. This is what we're going to do. And you're going to be okay. And look at her starting to soften. She's chewing. I've talked about with her that chewing doesn't always mean something good. I believe at some point that she learned to chew to make whatever she didn't want to go away. But in that case right there, I think the chewing actually meant that she was being accepting of what I was asking for. Now see right here, she's wanting to kind of leave. I'm just going to take this saddle pad and just touch her with it. Her feet moved, but as soon as it got up against her, she got still. So, general thought is, her feet move and you keep moving it, and when she gets still, you take it away. Generally, that's how you train this kind of stuff. That's how you train a horse. But with her, that doesn't work as good. Now I just made it a little bit bigger. With her, I'm going to expect more of her. I think she's better than what she's showing me here. Make it a little bit bigger again. I think she knows what I'm doing. Now if I touch her with her leg, touch her on the leg with the saddle pad, she might kick at it. But I really don't think she was afraid of it. Because if she was really afraid of it, she's going to try to get away from it when it's on her too. Good girl. Step to me. The step to me when I take it away is really big because I want her coming to me to ask me, okay, now what? Now what do you want me to do? And step to me. See her lick. Her body's actually getting softer. Let's go to the other side. All the feed bags are over here in this corner. I'm not sure if they got left that way after they cleaned her stall or if she kicked them around and played with them and put them there. Go to her. And keep rubbing. I'm just rubbing like there's nothing here to be worried about while her feet are moving. Now I'm keeping her head tilted to me a little bit. That's keeping her back end away from me. Really don't think she wants to kick. She has not acted like she wanted to kick me since this whole thing started. But I'm still going to keep her head to me. That not just keeps me safe from her back end, but that also helps keep her mind engaged this direction. Her head isn't turned to the left looking for an out. By keeping her head to me, that keeps the hips away, which keeps me safe, but it also keeps the head towards me, which helps keep her mind thinking about this side. Made it a little bit bigger. Now I'm not going to act like it's something to be afraid of. I want her to be broke to throw this pad up on her back, and that's how I'm going to handle it. I am going to be careful about it showing on the other side, because I don't want her seeing it over there and then spooking away from it on the other side into my space. See how she's already pushing into my space there. She's pushing into the pressure of the pad. See right there, I took it away and her feet's moving. Put it on her and her feet get still. See how that's just backwards of what you would think of with a lot of horses. I get that with horses that have had some work done that wasn't quite, their timing wasn't right. Now it's off of her. Her feet are moving because she's worried about it coming back. If you flag a horse and you take the pressure away at the wrong time, you're actually going to teach the horse to move their feet. And I think to an extent, that's what's happened to her. I know she was with a different trainer before she came to me, and I saw several comments on the other videos when I said that, and they said, well, it don't look like they did anything to her. They worked her. I can see where they worked her, because this type of behavior comes with work. It typically don't just happen this way. And I don't think the trainer did anything intentional. I don't think the trainer was hard on her. I don't think the trainer beat her. I'm not seeing any evidence of that. What I am seeing evidence of is timing being poor, and not really pushing the horse to learn a little more. See what happens if I ask her to move her feet with the pad on her. That's just a little English pad. It's nothing to it. I grabbed that pad because it's light and easy to handle, and easy for me to hold in my hands. I got arthritis in both my hands. The older I get, the more of a problem that's becoming, and I've made some adjustments because of that. Now, I told you a minute ago I was going to be careful about it showing on the other side. I am still aware of that could be a problem. She could spook from it on the other side. And if she does, she's probably going to move her shoulder into my space, but I still have to get that broke. See her looking on that side? That's another reason to keep her head to me. Let's move her feet a little bit. Move her feet a little bit the other direction. You can come through. Raven was working Ryder out in the covered arena. The way I had to set my camera up, I have it on the far side of the aisle. That bother you? And she had to walk between the two of us to get through with Ryder. There you go. Good girl. Move your feet. See now, just judging by how she acted when I first walked in here and throwing that lead rope over her back, You would have guessed it, I'd had a much bigger reaction with this saddle pad. But saddle pad is new, relatively new. She's not as confident about it. She doesn't really know what's going to happen with the saddle pad, so she doesn't have those predetermined, I'm going to spook away from it, because she don't know what's going to happen. So she has to pay attention to it a little bit more. This is why certain horses like this, you have to keep advancing, even though what you have isn't very good. As she learns to get comfortable with the saddle pad, her reactions to it are actually going to get bigger. And then we'll reach a point one time where she's just going to get nice and broke. It's going to take a little bit of time. She will get there. So now I'm going to change things up, and I'm going to start working with her feet. Another one of those things that I have to be progressing. See, I'm losing her head to the right. Bring your head back over to me. Head back over to me. The wall right there. There we go. Head over to me. Forward. Now we got something to work with. See her chew? Now we can work with that. Do that again. That was forward, but that was forward through my space. That's not acceptable. Nope. Then try to go forward through my space. That's not acceptable. Just because she acts worried, acts scared, it don't matter if a horse is scared or not. They're not allowed into my space. Bring your head to me. He was actually better about this the other day. Rub on it some more. Good rub on her leg. I really thought I'd be able to just put the rope around it and pick her feet up and lead her forward by her foot, because that's what she's been doing. Change it up. Actually increasing the pressure, changing it up. Slapping her a little bit on the other side. Actually going at her a little bit harder. Seems really counterproductive. With her, that's what it takes. I'm going to work this feet issue a lot. I've spent a lot of time on the saddle pad and the haltering, not as much on the feet. Have to get that better. Oh, this side. I'm going to start making her hold this foot up longer. You saw how when I added the pressure with the rope, I got harder on it and added the pressure of the pad and got harder. That got better. There. Don't slap it. It's going to be the same way with her feet. Almost. And give it to her. You're gonna do it again. When I get her saddled, this is actually going to become easier. Another half a second, I would have given it back to her. And give it back. Good girl. Trying to walk through it again. Do it again. Give it back. She's allowed me to pick it up, and she's allowed me to hold it a little bit, but she's wanting to determine how long I hold it. Not acceptable. You have to, there we go. You have to let me hold it up as long as I want to. Now, I'm not going to ask her to hold it up longer than what I think she's capable of doing, but I have to be the one that determines when she takes it back. And at this point, I have been asking her to pick it up, and then I give it right back to her to teach her the concept of picking it up. But we've advanced past that. We've advanced to the point where she needs to hold that foot up as long as I tell her to hold it up. And you saw how much trouble I had getting the rope around her leg. That's because it was time to push and ask for more, which is what I'm doing here. Give me more. Give me more. I'll give it to you as soon as you quit pulling it away. And release. Good girl. Good girl. Look how much better that was. Because I made her wait until I made the decision when to give it back. And because I gave it back in a reasonable amount of time, I didn't expect too much. Let's pick it up again. Give me a foot. See how I'm putting weight on it? I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not. And give it back. Good girl. Good girl. Try the other front foot. See how much trouble I have getting it on this foot. It might be better because she learned a little bit the other side. It might be worse because she learned a little bit about the other side. Or it might be exactly the same because nothing is transferred. Trying to push through the pressure again. Get harder again. Got to pay attention then. See her mind change? As soon as it got to the point where, hey, I don't know what's going on, I got to stop and listen. Go back to this. Working her feet. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up. I'm just kind of swinging the rope around her leg. Now I got the rope here. Let's see what happens. Good. I'd like to have held it up about another half second, but that wasn't too bad. Notice this whole time I have her hold of her halter, keeping her head this way to me as best I can. Put a few twists in this rope so she can't pull her foot out quite as easy. Cast it again. The way she was swinging her leg forward, I thought that might happen. Let's do it again. Now instead of going to her foot, swing it over her back. Now you see how the very first thing I did, the very first video, was I started swinging the rope over her back. Everything building from that. When you walk out in the pasture and you go to put a halter on her, first thing you're going to do is throw a rope over her. If you haltering correctly, that's what you should be doing. Give me a little slack. Pick it up with my foot. Put a few twists in it, and we'll go again. Did Sunita scare you? Maybe you need to pay attention and try a little harder. Back to me. Trying to pull her head away again. Shifting her weight over to that foot. Now as she tries to swing it around and get it away from me, I'm intentionally trying to pull her off balance. Make her try a little harder. When I was working Mr. T mounting, if you saw that video, he was not setting his feet very good for me to get on, and I wasn't helping him because he wasn't trying. Trying to run through that pressure. This is a horse that needs to learn this really bad. She gets a foot caught in the fence. Gonna be a heck of a vet bill. Do it again. There we go, good girl. Pulling that foot way out off balance. I know. That's on purpose. She can try a little harder. Putting weight, see her put weight on that foot, trying to not give it to me. There we go, good girl. Good girl. Let's do it again. She's trying to put all her weight on that foot, so when I slide it out, she's sliding to me. Let's back her up. There we go. Do that again. Weight off of that foot. Trying to push through the pressure of the halter. There we go. Good girl. Good girl. Like right there, I put my hand on her, she startled. The worst thing you can do is go at her softer. I did a video riding with a horse that he thought every cue meant something. Every little movement you made, he was supposed to react. He was very super sensitive. There we go. Good girl. Every cue that I did, he was overly sensitive to it. So things that I did that I did not want to mean anything, he was trying to make something out of them. This will build to that if I start getting soft when I go at her. I have to go at her like you're going to when she's a broke horse. You start creeping up to her, you're going to create some issues. You know, patting, her eyes got big, I'm going to keep patting. Walk away. Now, let's see what we can get done with the back feet. Swing it all around her legs. Not swinging it super gentle, just like you saw me with around her back and front feet. I want her to be broke to a rope. I'm going to swing the rope and get her broke to a rope. By getting super gentle, super soft, how you create this kind of stuff. So right there, that's her wanting to tell me, no, I'm not going to let you do that. Right thing easy, wrong thing hard, and I do not accept no answers. We want a yes answer. Give me a yes answer, everything will be okay. Do that again. Get more aggressive. Get more aggressive, she gets still. Now, you can't do that with every horse. Some horses you do this with, and they'll just haul off and kick the fire out of you. Some horses, this is the right answer, right way to do it. Not every horse. Not gonna fuss at her right away, but I will here in just a minute. Ah, shoot, slipped out of my hand. Let's do it again. Go right back at her hard. I don't want her to think she got away with something. Back at it again. Trying to kick it off. Just going to hold it and let her kick. Let her realize that that's not going to accomplish what she wants to. There we go. She picked it up, didn't kick that time. You've seen me, I have a video out where I'm working the horses, especially the back legs, with a boat hook. And I do that with a horse that wants to kick when you run your hand down their leg, to get them used to stuff touching and not kicking. She is really past that point. She knows what I'm asking for. She knows to give me her feet. We've worked it enough. She's trying to tell me no. See there, she's chewing again. Back feet were actually easier than the front feet. How about that? Do this one more time, then we'll do the back right. Good girl. Take the rope off. And we'll change directions and do the back right. It's storming pretty bad today. And Bob is out in the pasture. He's wet. Tomorrow when he's dry, I'm going to get him in, get him saddled up, and we're going to pony her again. She's ready for that. I need to continue the ponying, and I need to tie her. She hasn't been tied yet. That's going to happen soon, like within the next day or two. A lot of this I don't want to attitude that she's giving me. Now if she keeps this, I'm going to step back and just swing the rope over her back. A lot of this I don't want to attitude she's giving me, I'm going to work out by leaving her tied to the line, and she has no choice but to want to. Right thing easy, wrong thing hard. A lot of people nowadays, with the direction horse training is going, they try to do the right thing easy part, but they just don't do enough of the wrong thing hard part. And they let the horse misbehave, and they want to reward when it's good, which is fine. You should be rewarding when it's good. But you also have to be communicating in some realistic way when it's not good. You've seen me here. I bumped on a halter, which I'm going to do again. Back her up. Swing the rope pretty aggressive. Not in my space, she's shouldered in towards me. I keep her bent to the right, and when she tries to bend to the left, that brings her shoulder into me, which is how I would get knocked down. Flapping her pretty hard with her right now. You're gonna tell me no that hard, I'm gonna give you a no. I'm gonna give you an answer to that. Now we'll go easier. I don't want her to be afraid of it, but on the other hand, I'm gonna answer according to what she tells me. Nope, not going forward. Not going forward. Not going forward. See, a lot of this pulling here that she's doing, pulling forward, running backward, she's doing with this kind of work, that's her ways of learning little escapes to not do what I'm asking her to do. So to fix those little escapes, that's why I'm going to pony her behind Bob again. She won't be able to get away with those things. She goes to pull forward or pull backwards. She can pull all she wants. Bob will hold her. Not acceptable. I'll pull the cord out of my line. Ain't good, my line's gonna start coming apart. I let my foot grab that line. Ah, I touched it, didn't I? Wrap her all over with this line. Ah, don't like it there, do you? I'm sure somebody is going to say something about how I'm working her, about how terrible it is. I don't work every horse this way. Not every horse should be worked this way. Let's get these wraps off. Not every horse should be. You have to be able to adjust to the horse that you have. And that's what I've done here. I've adjusted to the horse that I have, doing what's working for her. Somebody might not like the way it looks, but the thing about it is, it's not how it looks that matters. It's the horse that matters. Reached down and just touched her with my toe, my boot. Touched her on her patron with the toe on my boot. Now I've picked up all 4 of her feet before, and this is worse than it was the first time. And that is because she learns what's happening and fights it. She has learned certain reactions that she can do to make pressure go away. I've mentioned this in other videos, and I always get comments about a horse doesn't learn that way, but they absolutely learn this way. You do something, horse does a reaction, you reward the positive things you want by taking the pressure away, or you discourage the things you don't want by keeping the pressure on, or maybe even add more pressure like I'm doing with her. She has learned that she can do certain reactions to make the pressure go away. And those reactions are not the positive things that we want her to know. And that's why with her, things have to be a little different. Just kind of touching her foot. I want to grab that rope. I'm going to try to grab it with my foot. We'll see. Don't quite have it in a good place. There we go. Try to pull it around her foot without her running off. There we go. Let's see if I can bring it up, pick it up. Now let's see what she does. She might have a pretty big reaction here. Not as big a reaction as I thought she would have. Good girl. Good girl. Try that again. She's not really standing very good to pick that foot up. Her back left foot, good girl. Her back left foot, it's kind of awkward to be putting weight on it. Picked it up twice, really good. I'm going to quit. Let me pet you. Let me pet, there you go. I'm not going to feed her treats to get her coming to me. That is not going to accomplish anything going forward. That would accomplish the immediate thing of me getting my hands on her. But when I go to do more with her, put the halter on, put the pad on, the saddle on, pick up the feet, whatever, I'm not going to have built that leadership relationship of her doing what I ask her to do. So I'm going to quit on her for now. Tomorrow when I work her, I'll be ponying her off Bob. And I'll try to get that on video. She has been a handful. She's been here, I think, about 10 days, if I remember right. And everything's about, with her, is about putting more pressure at the right time in the right way. So if you, this is Basta. We've been calling her Enough. If you have any questions about her, put them in the comments. If you want to see her playlist on YouTube, there'll be a link to her playlist on YouTube so you can see all her videos. Thank you for watching.